A harsh croaking came from the sky. An evil-looking raven flew above their heads with something clutched in its claws. The big black bird circled slowly.
That is one of Catra's messengers,
cried Adora. The raven gave one more croak. Then it dropped the object it was holding. It was a small, shining metal tube. It fell into the long grass. Bo picked it up and unscrewed the end to find a paper inside.
It is a message from Catra,
he said.
Greetings, Princess Adora. Your four-legged friend is well and in good hands. I invite you to be my guest. Come alone. The safety of Spirit depends on that. My messenger will come for your reply at this time tomorrow.
The message was sealed with Catra's cat sign. Adora stood looking down at the message.
Yes, I will go alone,
she said.
But at once, before Catra expects me.
I will come with you, as your bodyguard,
said Bo.
No,
said Adora.
I must do as Catra says.
Then at least let me accompany you as far as the edge of the Forest of Fear,
insisted Bo. To herself, Adora thought,
this is really a task for She-Ra, Princess of Power. But She-Ra without swift wind would be suspicious. I must do this as an ordinary girl. To begin with, anyway.
Madame Raz came swooping along on broom.
You're a very brave girl,
she cried.
But a little magic can come in useful, I always say.
And she held out a long cloak.
This is a cloak of invisibility. All you have to do is put it on, blink twice, and you're invisible.
How do I become visible again?
asked Adora.
Blink twice and take it off,
said Madame Raz.
Goodbye and good luck.
Mounted behind Bo on his horse Arrow, Adora set off. Late in the day, they reached the edge of the Forest of Fear. Adora dismounted.
Good luck,
called Bo as she made her way into the shadow of the evil wood.
I will wait here until you return.
Adora waved her hand, then turned to follow a twisting path that led into the depths of the forest. It was almost dark when she came to the edge of the trees. It was not the end of the Forest of Fear, but the edge of a wide clearing. In the center of the clearing was an enclosure built of stout logs, and inside it, Adora could see the white coat of her horse shining in the dusk. Spirit caught Adora's scent. He whinnied in greeting. Adora heard the voice of Catra.
You're wasting your breath, my fine friend. No one will ever find you here.
Adora found a sheltered place deep among the trees. She drew her sword of power and placed it on the ground, ready. Then she wrapped herself in Madame Raz's cloak and lay down to sleep. She woke while it was still dark, although daybreak was not far away. Now it was time for She-Ra to take over. Holding the sword aloft, she cried,
For the honor of Grayskull!
In an instant, Princess Adora became She-Ra, Princess of Power. That was the first part of her plan. For the next part, she had to get as close as possible to Spirit without being seen. If Claudine were on the prowl, even the darkness would not conceal her. She must use Madame Raz's magic cloak. She-Ra was not the only one awake and about in the Forest of Fear. Catra was so excited at the thought of capturing Spirit and Adora that she could not sleep. She just had to have another look at her prisoner. She rose from her bed, left her tower, and rode swiftly on Claudine. Spirit snorted in fear as he caught the scent of the great cat. He backed into the far corner of the enclosure when Catra climbed onto the fence for a better look. She strained her eyes. Yes, the white horse was still there. Today she would teach him some special tricks. Catra laughed a wicked laugh. Wrapping the cloak of invisibility around her, She-Ra blinked twice. And nothing happened. She was still visible. She could see in the starlight her hand holding the sword. But where was the cloak? She could feel it against her body, but she couldn't see it. Madame Raz had done it again. It was a cloak of invisibility, sure enough, but it was the cloak itself which disappeared, not the person wearing it. Shira turned the cloak visible again and hung it on a tree branch. Now she would have to come into the open and act fast. She raced across the clearing and reached the enclosure just as Catra was climbing into the saddle. A blaze of mystic light shone from the sword, and Catra suddenly found herself astride not Spirit the white horse, but Swift Wind, the winged unicorn. Catra screamed. What had happened? The white horse was gone, and in its place was a winged unicorn. That meant only one thing. That meddling Shira had taken a hand in rescuing Spirit and had left Swiftwind in his place. Catra made to dismount, but she was too late. Shira's voice rang out.
Now, Swiftwind, you can take Catra for a ride.
Dawn was breaking, and in the first light of morning, Swiftwind soared on powerful wings up and up above the forest of fear. Catra held on as tightly as she could as Swiftwind soared and swooped. Shira called from the ground far below.
It's a beautiful morning, Catra. I hope you enjoyed your ride.
Then, Swiftwind dived fast towards the ground. At the last moment, he spun round so that Catra lost her hold and fell into a tangle of bushes. As Catra vanished into the undergrowth, she shouted,
Claudine, come quickly!
With a snarl, the great cat bounded out from among the trees. Swiftwind had landed in the clearing, but Claudine was between him and Shira. Shira made to run round Claudine, but the cat moved too quickly. She charged with a savage roar, and Shira sprinted for the cover of the forest. As Claudine raced after Shira, Swiftwind rose into the air. He must rescue his beloved mistress, but there was nowhere among the tangled treetops where he could land. Shira must reach open country. She ran back along the path she had come by. Close behind her, she heard the sound of Claudine as she followed hard on her heels. The path twisted and turned. Claudine was out of sight, but not far behind. Suddenly, Shira turned a corner, and there was Madame Raz's cloak, where she had left it hanging on a tree. She stopped and unhooked the cloak from the branch. She put it on, blinked twice, and the cloak vanished from sight. A low branch overhung the path. Shira hung up the cloak on it and spread it out above the path. Claudine bounded round the corner, saw Shira, and with a loud snarl, leaped at her. Next moment, she was on the ground as the invisible cloak wrapped itself around her. As Claudine fought to free herself from something she couldn't see, Shira raced on through the trees. Soon she came to a clearing where she found Swiftwind waiting for her. In a moment, they were skimming across the treetops. Close to the edge of the forest, they came to earth. Shira became Adora once more, and Swiftwind became Spirit. Bo was waiting as he had promised, and together they rode home. A great crowd had gathered to greet them, and everyone rejoiced at the safe return of Spirit.
How did you do it?
Everyone wanted to know,
I was really very lucky.
said Adora.
Spirit was extremely brave. And of course, I could have done nothing without the help of Madame Raz and her magic.
Everyone cheered again, and as Bo looked at Spirit, he could have sworn that the horse turned his head and winked at Adora.